I started 96, was brought into the panel when Dublin were All-Ireland champions, but you know, Dublin have won 2 All-Irelands in the last 32 years. They're the facts of it, and there's a lot of players around Dublin that will finish up without All-Ireland medals. But you know, like Eamon says, ours wasn't a missed chance, ours was a hammering. that's the end of story. Kerry just blew us out of the water on the day, and it was a disappointing end to the year for us.
Was that a freak result in your view, or is that unfair to Kerry to say that?
Well, Kerry just performed on the day. You know, we always felt once Kerry got back to Croke Park that they're a different side, and they stuttered through the qualifiers, but they got off to a rip-roaring start that day, and we just never recovered. And you know, it's very hard to pinpoint what went wrong, but you know, in fairness, they just blew us out of the water.
Yeah, there was a lot of things went wrong. But anyway, yeah.
Where do you start?
Well, good luck in your retirement. You're going to stay involved, are you?
I'll stay involved. I'll play a bit of club football, all right, and I'll take a back seat and take it easy for a while. All
right. Well, good luck. Thanks for being with us, Kieran. We'll be chatting with lots more of our distinguished audience as the programme goes on. But a reminder about the great prize in our competition with us, and we're going to be chatting with them as we go along through the programme. But first, let's get reaction to today's final from the unfortunate Cork team.
You get 70 minutes to perform, and you've got to perform over the 70 minutes. We probably started that game reasonably well. Maybe took our leg off the pedal, and you know, in fairness to Kerry, they stuck in there, got the scores, and you know, in the second half maybe we had a few chances to come back and claw back. We'd possibly be a bit disappointed without that.
Yeah, we got a very good start, and you know, that's what we were probably aiming to do. Kerry, to be fair to them, came back strong, and they took their chances. I don't think they kicked very many wides in the first half. We had a few chances maybe that we could have turned the screw a bit more. We were still within touching distance at half time. It was only 2 points in it, so we felt we were in a great chance, and we got it back to a point. But you know, they just kept us at arm's length for the last 10 minutes, and you know, I suppose maybe that was experience, and maybe a bit of lack of experience on our part. But you know, that's the way it goes.
You shot 14 wides today. It's an awful lot, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a high figure, but you know, you're supposed to be more disappointed if you weren't creating the chances. You know, there I suppose maybe the second quarter we weren't creating chances. You know, the second half I think we created the chances, but you know, just didn't take them, unfortunately.
I'm probably the oldest player in the team, so but certainly a lot of the guys coming through are, you know, coming into their prime in the next year or two, and you know, I'm not sure what guys you know, what their plans are for the next year or so in terms of the older guys, but I'd imagine everybody will be on board again next year. But it's, you know, it's about trying to put this behind us, I suppose, and you know, doubling our efforts maybe next year.
Yeah, Darragh just telling me Alan Quirke's getting married next Friday, so good luck, Alan. I hope you have a good weekend next weekend. It's tough after the day that's in it. Let's go back to the audience. Willie Joe Padden from Mayo, you experienced the heartbreak of defeat in the final. Do you think fans understand what it's like for players on a night like this?
Certainly they do, yeah. As I said, we've had enough of our heartbreak down through the years. I might get a few tips here maybe from Sean Boylan how to win one, maybe it'd be good. But the fans do, like, they appreciate what the players have, you know, put in, the sacrifices they've made all year. And I suppose, you know, it's equally very hard for Cork tonight, because, you know, they did beat the 2 best teams in the country, or the 2 teams that you would imagine would be the 2 teams that you would have to beat to win an All-Ireland. But unfortunately, when it came down to the final today, Kerry, you know, really had their homework done, and they really had their appetite and their hunger. And I think that, you know, as some of the lads said there earlier on, like, they did stutter through the, you know, the qualifier, but when they needed to play a big game, which was against Dublin, they produced it. They played a mediocre game against Meath. Come today to the final, they had to be at their best, and certainly when it came to the test today, that they were up for it.
Right. Sean Boylan, a word about Conor Coonan. He hasn't had a bad 15 months of whatever as manager.
No, he's such a calm man. He's put his own stamp on it, and he's moulded a lovely team together. Because a couple of years ago, they got a really bad defeat in an All-Ireland final, and it's hard to come back from that. And they've regrouped. They brought in the younger players. Today, they just met a Kerry team that Kerry, they were stung early on, and they reacted very quickly. And once they got back on top, they weren't going to let go. They never lost their attention for a moment, and it was very, very difficult. It must be very frustrating for Cork, because they had so much ball and yet couldn't score, couldn't put it away, couldn't get a movement going. It was just a frustrating day for them, because all through the championship, they have been very, very impressive, coming from the full back out. But it didn't happen today. But let's hand it to Kerry. Let's give credit to where credit is due. And but knowing Conor, he'll bring them back. You know, it won't be the end of the world as far as he's concerned. He knows the potential is there. He knows there's great possibilities in the team.
Yeah.
And I don't think it'll be too long before he has to have their day in the sun as well.
All right, Sean, thank you. Dara, as Sean says, give credit where credit is due. You were a forward with Kerry, but you were hugely impressed with the Kerry defence.
Yeah, Sean mentioned the final of 2 years ago as well, and I think at that stage we got Kieran Donaghy, Colm Cooper, Declan Sullivan, all these lads getting all the kudos, but definitely today was a seriously good defensive performance. You know, and I suppose again they've learned so much from Tyrone. They play without fear, bad start, and they grew into the game, grew in confidence, and very, very disciplined in the tackle. Mark O'Shea shadowing Donnacha O'Connor as he did all day, putting him into positions where he doesn't want to be kicking from. Paul Galvin tracking back, but the full backline discipline is excellent here. Tom Sullivan just given just an inch on the shoulder the whole time, ball being cleared. And you know, Cork did exert huge pressure. I know they kicked a lot of wides. Some of them could be attributed to bad kicking, more of them could be attributed to the pressure Kerry were putting on Mark O'Shea, a player who would have been coming in for a bit of criticism this year as well, like Tommy Griffin and Thomas Sullivan also coming in for criticism. They felt might have been a bit vulnerable. Tom Sullivan here shows that he still has the legs at 31 years of age to take off up the field and set up a crucial score at a very vital stage of the game. And it's just the confidence these lads show. It's a high ball across the square. There's no question about who's claiming it. Mark comes out of nowhere, claims it, and goes right across the line, plays it with a bit of confidence. And again, I honestly think that these lads are learning an awful lot from the defeats that they've had, that they're just playing on instinct, playing in fear. They're fine footballers. You know, people would say they probably have too much football for a full back line trio, but they were excellent today, and they were the bedrock on which the whole win was
not unlike, I suppose, Tyrone had the footballing full back line, and it's becoming
well, you look at
the
job that Tyrone's full back line did last year when all the talk was about the Kerry full forward line going in, and they played on instinct, on the shoulder, without fear. Those things could have gone seriously wrong for them, but they played at that level, and Kerry did that today. I feel, you know, after 10 minutes it couldn't have got much worse, so they decided, go out, let's play, and play on the edge, and they did that very, very well today.
Just one final thing on that, in your praise of the full back line, the Kerry half-back line didn't really allow the Cork half-forward line do much either.
They didn't, but I think that would have been anticipated coming into the game. You had two lads there on the wings who were going, you know, would have been a huge pressure on them to play a big game. Kerrigan and Kelly, they were coming in with big reputations and having had a good year, so their names were up in lights already. Pierce O'Neill likewise, Mike McCarthy, you know, kept them very, very quiet today. They do deserve an awful lot of credit, but I just a little bit more impressed with the full back line for their just fearlessness right throughout the game.
All right. Tony, don't want you to start having to knock your own fellas, but Cork didn't play to their potential.
No, they didn't really. And I suppose one of the main points is at the start of the second half, where it was 1-6-11 at half time, and Cork owned the ball for the first 10 minutes of this, and they just didn't take their chances. Here we see Paul Kerrigan kicking the ball wide, and this is just an example of quite a lot of other shots. Now, all the talk before the game was Kerry's free taking. Did they have a free taker? Now, Cork do have 3 free takers, and unfortunately, again today, they're all scoreable frees. Daniel would kick them over the bar ordinarily and didn't do it again today. And some of the shots here again, Donnacha out in the wing, he turns in on his left and kicks it wide. Again, Donnacha on another day would have kicked that over the bar. But what it showed overall was Cork's lack of experience. They had 3 forwards playing in their first All-Ireland final. It's a whole new ball game. Totally new. You have to live up to. You have to get used to the whole occasion. You can be good all year, but it's the day the cups are given out, so they must get it right on the day. Their attacking play as well was quite poor in the second half. They just lost their shape. They lost the style they played with all year. It's just something they must learn. When we played, I look at Sean Boylan and Martin Connell down there, 87 and 88. They beat us in All-Ireland finals. They'll be hungry. They'll want to come back again. They're a young team and they can learn from it, but they must take the positives from it and drive on. They're a good young team, and hopefully we'll see them back again.
Okay then. There was speculation about what the Kerry attack would be, who'd be in, who'd be out. Tommy Walsh was back in, and he certainly made an impact.
Well, he did, and I believe there was a fantastic contest down at training between himself and Donnacha Walsh, but they gave the nod to Tommy Walsh, and they'll be pretty thrilled that they did, because he had a huge influence in the game. This is after, you know, maybe 20 minutes or so. There are four points on. That's a terrific pass in from Tomás O'Shea, and Tommy Walsh is now coming into the game. He subbed off against Dublin, came on against Meath. So there's a few question marks about what his contribution was going to be, but he was absolutely brilliant. Power, like for such a big guy, you know, he has lovely touches as well. And there would have been a sense that he wasn't throwing the ball around as much and he wasn't scoring the points. You get the odd spectacular goal and so on. But now, this is the second half and there's only a point in it. And this is really squeaky bum time now for Kerry. Can they push on? And now he's on to his left foot. I think the lads were talking about it today in the studio, where he's connecting with the ball high up, very difficult to block. and a terrific. And this is for me the score of the game. Lovely little interchange of passes. But watch Tommy Walsh when he gives the pass. Comes around the back, as all good forwards should, and that is absolutely terrific. He nails it.
Funny enough, Des, when we spoke about this last Sunday night in our preview, and we assumed all the time that Tommy Walsh was going to start, but when you talk to the people that know down in Kerry, they were saying there was a certain doubt about it. I couldn't understand why there was a doubt, because he's perfect for the Cork full backline. He's a big, strong guy. We saw what he did against Anthony Moyles. He came on and got 1-2 that day, 1-3. Yeah. It's very hard to defend against somebody that big, and with the kind of ability he has, he can kick scores like that. He has to be on the team.
All right, well, speaking of big men, for me, one of the highlights today probably wasn't seen by our audience who were at Croke Park, but immediately afterwards, Ty Kennelly was interviewed, and given the year he had, a huge gamble. Obviously, he lost a lot of money by giving up the Aussie rules to come back, but it was a very emotional moment when you remember, of course, his dad has won in All-Ireland, lots of All-Irelands, his brother Noel has won. But let's just recap on Ty after the match with Marty.
I'm very, very happy. Put a lot of work, I suppose, leaving in the first place 10 years ago, and I thought I would be here well before now at the age of 28, but very, very lucky to come back my first year and to reach an All-Ireland final and to go through what we did. And personally, look, like I said, the years haven't been too easy over there.
But Ty, to win the Premiership in 2005 and then to win an All-Ireland in 2009, I mean, it is a unique and fantastic achievement. You must be so proud.
Yeah, I am. Look, I haven't thought about it. Look, Marty, it hasn't really sunk in. Look, I've just been thinking about my father, really, to tell you the truth. So it's good. I'm very, very happy, man.
I'm emotional myself looking at it there.
I think with Tommy, and what probably people don't realise, or with Ty, what people don't realise is when he came back, the injection he gave that Kerry panel is unbelievable. You know, that they felt that this guy was leaving a professional game, that it was worth his while to do what he was doing. And to play the game that he played today, he ran himself into the ground, gave Graham Canty fierce trouble right throughout the game, and I think that was applied by the management. They take him off and put on somebody else who would run him into the ground as well. But his kicking, and you could see the incremental improvement in his game right throughout the summer. He was improving, even though I heard an interview with him during the week where he was saying he was sitting on the sideline against Sligo with a broken bone in his hand, hoping against hope that David Murphy would save this penalty, but he really contributed in a big way. But I think his biggest contribution was actually just coming back in the first place and letting the other 33 or 4 lads on the panel know that this was something worth fighting for, that this was something worth giving up something for, and it is one of the big stories of the year without a shadow of a doubt.
And great for his mother Nuala and the family, as he said. But Kevin, the perfect ending to the story could have been different because Cork fans were unhappy. That first or second minute tackle.
Well, the story could have been stillborn, of course. That's the truth of it. It's not a good challenge. The referee is in a great position, in my opinion, and he's very lucky. That's the first minute. It is a sending off offence. He's high. It's reckless. He's come in at speed. I can only assume that Marty Duffy didn't see it in the way we've just been able to see it in slow-mo, because he would have had to issue a red card if he viewed it perfectly. Them's the breaks. It happened in the first minute. He gets to tell the great story, and he had a huge influence in the game. If he's sent off there, well, they have to do a lot of rejigging, and he's not going to have the big influence in the game. So I suppose that's the talking point. That's why Cork are a wee bit sore about it.
Frustration for the...
Frustration, certainly, because just from looking at that incident, he let that incident go, and I thought he just pulled up for petty incidents in other parts of the field. Cork were 1-4 to 1 point up at one stage, and I thought some of those frees were very soft. And as well as with the Kerry, I thought Cork got some soft frees off him as well, from petty enough kind of stuff, So, okay, it's a balance, but if he got sent off for the first minute of the game, the result could have been different. No one wishes...
It was a big day for Marty Duffy too.
A big day for him as well, and particularly with all the talk before it as well. It's an awful pressure to put on him, so listen, that's the way it goes.
He didn't make any decision, in my opinion.
Well, he didn't cost...
he didn't cost Cork the All-Ireland.
Kerry were the better team without any doubt, and that's it, but still.
All right, let's go to our audience. Donegal's Martin McHugh is there. Martin, what did you think of the game today?
I thought the match was actually won today before the game.